Hello students, welcome to this session of history class. Today we are going to first of all study about the two great epics of India, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. The epics throw a great deal of light on all spheres of life of the Aryans during the later Vedic period. Ramayana was composed by sage Valmiki. The epic was originally composed in Sanskrit language. Mahabharata is written by sage Vyas in Sanskrit language. Originally, it was known as Jaya or collection of verses dealing with victory. Later, it came to be known as Bharat as it contained the stories of the descendants of one of the earliest Vedic tribe known as Bharat. The final compilation came to be known as Mahabharata. A part of Mahabharata called Bhagavad Gita is still considered to be one of the most sacred and popular religious texts of India. It teaches that soul is immortal. You can read the stories of Ramayana and Mahabharata from your book. Importance of epics. The epics are important for a number of reasons. First, the epics give information about social, cultural, and political life of the people of the epic age. Second, the epics provide information about the various Aryan kingdoms, their armies, and weapons they used. Third, they also reveal the importance of family. Fourth, the epics are the best literary works of the ancient period and are highly praised for their philosophical and literary value. Next, the Bhagavad Gita stresses on the philosophy of karma and immortality of soul. Children, let us study about the society in the early Vedic period. The Aryans lived in villages. Their families were patriarchal, where the oldest male member was the head of the family and he was called Grihapati. Joint family system was prevalent. Several families lived in a village or gram. The head was called Gramini. Several villages formed a Vis. The head of the Vis was called Vispati. Several Vis together formed a tribe or Jana headed by a king or Rajan. The duty of the king was to protect the tribe. He was assisted in his work by Gramini, who looked after the administration of the village. Senani, who was the commander of the army. Prohit, who performed religious ceremonies. The king did not have a standing army. To advise the king and to keep a check on his powers, there were three popular assemblies: Sabha, Samiti, and Vidat. The Sabha was the council of elders. The Samiti was the assembly of the people, and the Vidat was the assembly of all the people. It performed social, religious, economic, and military functions. Women were allowed to attend only Sabha and Vidat. During the later Vedic period, the family became more patriarchal. The joint family system continued. The males in the family were more important. People welcomed the birth of a son, a daughter was often considered as a source of misery. New powerful kingdoms emerged like Magad, Kosala. Kingship became hereditary and king became more powerful and performed various rituals and sacrifices to strengthen his position like Ashwamedh Yajna and Raj Surya sacrifice. New officials were involved in administration along with Purohit, Senani and Gramini. These officials were Sanghitri, that is the treasury officer, and Bhaga Duga, that is the tax collector. The Vidat completely disappeared. The Sabha and Samiti continued to exist but lost their importance as it was dominated by nobles and Brahmins. Women were also not allowed to attend these assemblies. Position of women. During the early Vedic period, women were respected. They enjoyed equal rights with men. They were also given freedom to choose their husbands. That is, the practice of Swayamvar was prevalent. Women received education. They could also attend assemblies. Practice of child marriage and sati were absent during this period. Widows were allowed to remarry. But during the later Vedic period, the position of women declined. They were considered subordinate and inferior to men. The freedom to choose their husband was curtailed. They were not allowed to participate in the assemblies or yajnas. Widow remarriage was no more favored. They also did not enjoy the right to property. Class division during the early Vedic period. The Aryans were fair-skinned people and considered themselves superior to the non-Aryans who were the original inhabitants and were dark-skinned. So, the Aryans called them Dasas or Dasyus. Society was divided into 4 groups or Varnas based on professions. First, the Brahmins or the priests who performed the religious ceremonies, studied Vedas and imparted education. Second, the Kshatriyas who were the warrior class and protected the tribe. Third, the Vaishyas were people engaged in trade, agriculture and industry. Fourth, the Shudras were the servants and laborers. They served the first 3 classes. This division was based on occupation of a person rather than his birth. There was no rigidity in the division as occupations were not hereditary. People were allowed to adopt any profession of their choice. Intercaste marriages were also prevalent. During the later Vedic period, the caste system became rigid. Birth decided the caste of a person and it was difficult to change one's caste or occupation. The son of a Brahmin would always be a Brahmin. Profession became hereditary. The 4 divisions of society were Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. Brahmins gained importance. The priest was also considered as god on earth. The Kshatriyas also came to be regarded as the ruling class. Shudras came to be regarded as untouchables. Intercaste marriages were not prevalent. The 4 ashrams. In the later Vedic period, the whole lifespan of an Aryan came to be divided into 4 stages known as ashrams. These were: first, the Brahmacharya ashram. It was a stage during which the child received education from his guru. The child went to the Gurukul and stayed there till his education was complete. Second, Grihast ashram. In this ashram, a person got married and led a family life and took full responsibilities of his family till the age of 50 years. Third, Vanprasth ashram. During this period, a person gave up worldly life and went to the forest to meditate and pray. The last ashram was Sannyas ashram. This stage started from the age of 75 years. The person had to renounce the worldly pleasures and lead the life of a sannyasi in the forest. He meditated to attain salvation or moksha. These ashrams were meant only for the upper 3 classes of the society. Education. In the Vedic period, education was imparted through Gurukuls. The residence of the Guru or the teacher was called Gurukul, which means the family of the Guru. The students had to live in the Gurukuls that were usually located in forests or on the outskirts of the village. The student resided with the teachers, served them, and also learnt and gained knowledge. The education was imparted orally. Subjects taught at the Gurukul included the Vedas, Puranas, mathematics, logic, ethics, grammar, and military science. No fee was charged by the Guru, but the students rendered personal services to the Guru, such as grazing his cow, worked in the fields, and did the household chores. After finishing their education, the students gave a gift to his teacher, which was known as Guru Dakshina. Children, now we will study about the food, dress and amusement of the Aryans. First of all, let us see the food. The early Aryans ate simple food. Barley or java was the main cereal that was produced by them. Wheat and rice were not known to them. During the later Vedic period, rice or vrihi was used. Cows were also domesticated and milk products like butter, ghee, curd, etc. were used. The popular drinks were soma and sura, which were intoxicating strong drinks. Soma was even offered to gods in religious ceremonies. Now let us see the dress of the people. The dress worn by Aryans normally consisted of 2 or 3 garments, an upper piece called vasa, an undergarment called dhoti or nivi, an overgarment or a loose piece of cloth called adhivasa. They were made of cotton and wool and were of different colors. Men kept long hair and used to wear turbans. Some of the sadhus wore deer skin known as mrigchal. Both men and women wore ornaments that were made of gold, silver, ivory and precious stones. Common item of jewelry were rings, earrings, bracelets, anklets and necklace. Now let us see the amusement. The main means of amusement were horse race, chariot races, singing, dancing and hunting. The musical instruments used by the people were flute, drum and mridang. Now let us study the religious beliefs of the Aryans during the early Vedic period and later Vedic period. In the early Vedic period, people worshipped different forces of nature as God, like the wind, rain, water, fire, thunder, etc. A large number of gods and goddesses are mentioned in the Rig Veda, such as Indra, the god of rain, Agni, the fire god, Surya, the sun god, Varun, the god of water, Vayu, the god of wind, Rudra, the god of storms, etc. The Vedic Aryans worshipped some female goddesses like Usha, Prithvi, Aditi. The early Vedic Aryans did not construct temples or images to worship gods. They worshipped in the open air, offering sacrifices and singing hymns. Now let us see the later Vedic period. During the later Vedic period, religion became more complex with elaborate rituals and animal sacrifices to please gods. New gods like Prajapati, the creator, Vishnu, the protector, and Shiva, the destroyer, became prominent. During this period, sacrifices became more important. Animal sacrifices also increased. Rituals became more elaborate. Religious practices had become complex and was beyond the reach of common people. These could be performed only by the Brahmins. The priests who conducted the sacrifices were rewarded generously and given dakshina in the form of cows, gold and horses. New doctrines like the doctrine of karma, that is action, dharma, that is duty, and moksha, that is salvation, were evolved. The belief in rebirth after death became popular. The Vedic age ended around 600 BC.